So I saw this post from Crypto Game Strat, aka Comrex, aka TC, aka a million other things. But he put up some of his SplinterLands rental stats inspired by my post, which was actually part of the reason I put up that post, was to inspire some suppliers to come to market and improve the liquidity of the SplinterLands rentals. So uh, he went to Peak Monsters and downloaded the table of the rental contracts, which I hadn't thought of doing. So this was a great idea, and I decided to do it as well. And so you can see, his strategy is more of keeping prices high and suffering, more vacancy as a result of that. So I'm a little bit of a different mind where I want maximum occupancy while still making an adequate return. So our views on that are a little bit different. But then I decided to download the the transactions, or the contracts rather, into Excel, and let's take a look at how that works. So here's everything, basically everything I have up for rent, and I've got a lot. I've got 553 cards on the rental market, and you can see here that the vacancy rates and how much they're worth varies quite a bit. So if I had every one of those contracts rented, I would actually be making $37 a day plus escrows. So about 10% more than that. So I'd be at about $40 a day. I'm not there. I'm making right now about $11 a day. So I'm about 1/4 occupied in dollar terms. And the reason for that is the golds, they don't rent very well. I think they're just too expensive, even at very low rental rates. Most of my golds are at 1 or 2%, ROI, but but it's still just too much compared to other things. Even though you get the bonuses for, especially the alpha golds. You get double bonus. You get bonus for alpha. You get bonus for gold. So if you're playing with 4 alpha golds, then you get an 80% bonus to your dark energy crystal collection. Even with that, though, people don't seem to be renting too many of them. You can see I have 68 total on the market, and 12 are rented, and 56 are not. In the beta golds, I've got 65 listed, 18 are rented, 47 are not. The promo golds, nobody rented anything. Reward golds, now there's a slightly different. We got 10 rented and 7 available. So there's some demand there. And then overall, if we just take out the gold and just look at availability by edition, you can see that alpha is about 60% rented. Betas are lower. They are about 35% rented. Promos, right now I've got a lot more available than I have rented. About 25% occupancy there. And then on the rewards, a lot more are rented. Now, that is probably because, in the rewards and in the betas for the neutrals, I've started buying much more strategically. So in the past, before the rental market had developed, I was just buying everything, and so I have a lot of everything basically. I have like 3% of all the alpha water splinter stuff. But that was before there was a market. I didn't know what was going to be in demand and what wasn't. A lot of these was before they even had stats. This was back in the very early days when it was just a picture and it had a level, and that's all we knew. So now that play has evolved, and both the market prices for buying and the market prices for renting have developed, we're starting to see markets, and we can start to see what's in demand and where, as an investor, I should be spending my money in order to maximize the value to the market. So I have now, even after the nerfing, I have 3 Prince Rendons, and those have been very highly in demand for rentals. Another thing that'll change these numbers is that, as contracts expire, whether they're come to completion or they are actually broken, I reassess the markets at that time. So, my prices, will change as the market changes. And, again, contrasting with what we had here, where it wants to keep prices high, or as high as possible anyway, in order to get an adequate total return. I'm you know I'm just looking for where the demand is. So if I see a market where maybe one owner is at 4 cents, one's at 5 cents, some are at 10 cents, and some are at 15 cents. If the 10 cents are renting, I'm going to put them in that ballpark. And then over time, we'll, I think as a group of owners, we'll shift to where, the demand curve dictates that that everybody's willing to rent them at. Because starting off, we just had no idea. So some people listed low, some people listed high, and obviously the low ones got snapped up first. But then, if those are snapped up and there's additional demand, then obviously that your price was too low. So we're finding that equilibrium point, and that will change as the styles of play and the meta narratives of how people are responding to things change. So like right now, Prince Trendon's on top, and that might not always be true. So we'll see how it goes. And I can't believe the Arias, the Archmage Arias, that's +1 on all attacks, has not been rented. Somebody listed theirs for like 20 cents and it got rented. I'm like, that's ridiculous. There's only like 10 of them. So anyway, that is where I'm at. So each week I think I'm going to update my rental stats to let everybody follow along to see how they're doing, or see how the market is doing, because my cards are about, I think according to Jarvie, from what I remember, my cards are about 15% of the active contracts. So it's not everything, but it's a significant portion. And I think the more people know about the rental market, how it works from both sides, then the more interest there will be, and the more democratization there will be of the high level cards.